Today we are going to see 15th chapter, which is probability. Let us think of a coin which is tossed 10 times. I write here, the coin is tossed 10 times. When you toss a coin 10 times, can you say firmly that first what you are going to get? Can you say whether it is head or tail? Surely not possible. So I toss a coin. So think that first we are getting a head. The same coin is tossed second time. Say we are getting tail. Third time I am tossing the coin. Say I am getting tail. Fourth time also say I am getting tail. Fifth time head appears. Sixth time again tail appears. Next time say head appears. Following head appears. Say here tail appears, and the last time also say tail appears. This I have tossed a coin and I observed what are the outcomes. So first time I got a head, and next 3 times consecutively I got tails, then head, tail, head, last tail, tail. So total number of times I have tossed the coin 10 times. So what is total number of trials? Total number of trials is equal to 10, right? So here we can find out number of heads appeared and number of tails appeared. That also I write down. Number of head appeared. Count how many heads I have written. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 heads are appeared. Therefore, number of head appeared is equal to 4. Then comes number of tail appeared. Count, we will get 6. So 10 stands for the total number of trials, total number of experiments we have done with the tossing of a coin. Number of head appeared, it is 4 times. Number of tail appeared equal to 6 times. Suppose if you toss a coin at home, right, if you want to do the same experiment at home 10 times, you may not get the same outcomes. You may get all the 10 head also, all the 10 tails also, or the heads may be more than tails. So any number of observations we will get. So regarding this my experiment, out of total trials 10, I have got 4 head and 6 tail. Now I want to find the probability of getting a head. So the probability is denoted by P. I want to find probability of getting a head. When I calculate probability of getting head, I should say how many times this head appeared. It is equal to 4. Therefore, it is 4. Divided by the total number of trials we have taken, which is 10. Right? This is equal to, you can express this in the form of fraction, or you can write it as a decimal also if possible. Right. Next, I want to find out probability of getting a tail. Tail. So I should find out how many times this tail has appeared. We found it is 6. So 6 divided by, again, total number of trials. Total number of trials, how many? 10. So 6 divided by 10, which gives 3 upon 5 I can write, or I can write directly 0.6 also. So the events are getting head or getting a tail, and total number of trials is equal to what? Equal to 10. So these terms we should remember. So here head is an event, getting tail is another event, and total number of trials equal to 10. And how to get the probability of getting head? It is number of times head appeared divided by total number of trials. To calculate probability of getting tail, it is number of times tail appeared divided by total number of trials. Next, let us understand tossing a coin 4 times. 4 times. One example is over. We are dealing with the second example. When I toss the coin, say first time I got a head, second time head, third time also head, fourth time also head. So I didn't get any tail. The same coin is tossed 4 times, one by one. So in each time I got head only. So let us understand what is the total number of trials. Total number of trials. How many trials we made? Total number of trials is equal to 4. Number of head appeared also equal to what? 4. Number of times tail appeared. Any time tail appeared? Look at the outcomes we got here. No T. So no tail is appeared. So it is equal to what? Equal to 0. So how to get probability of getting head? Probability of getting head. Probability of getting head. We know how many times head appeared? 4 times. Divided by total number of trials. How many trials we have taken? 4. 4 divided by 4, which is equal to 1. Suppose if you are asked to find out probability of getting a tail. How many times tail appeared? No time. Therefore it is 0 divided by total number of trials, which is equal to 4. So what is the answer? Answer is 0. So the result is, if you calculate probability of any event, the answer can be 0, it can be 1, or it can be any number between 0 and 1. We should remember the range of probability of any event. The answer can be 0, I repeat. The answer can be 1 also, or it can be any number between this 0 and 1. It never be less than 0 and it never be greater than 1. So we write probability of any event lies between 0 and 1, where 0 and 1 are inclusive. Can be 0, can be 1, or it can be any real number between 0 and 1. This we should remember. This result we can write in the short form as 0 less than or equal to probability of any event less than or equal to 1. So any event, probability of any event takes the value right from 0 till number 1. If it is a certain event, what is a certain event? We know 100% that it is going to surely happen. You are throwing a die. If the probability is getting a natural number less than 7. What do you mean by natural numbers less than 7? Can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you throw a die, you know what is a die? You know on one face number 1 is marked. On the other face number 2. On the other face 3, 4, 5, 6. These numbers are only marked on a die. So when you throw a die, out of these 6 numbers, any one number may come out. So it is surely can be number 3 or it is 1. So out of these 6 numbers, definitely one number is going to occur. So if the event is while throwing a die, getting a natural number less than 7, it is a sure event or it is a certain event. So when you calculate probability of such an event, definitely it is equal to what? Equal to 1. Let us understand what is an impossible event. You are throwing a die. Is it possible to get a number 10? Not possible. Therefore, it is an impossible event. From a die, it is not possible to get a number 10 when it is thrown once. Therefore, it is an impossible event. If you calculate probability of any impossible event, the value is equal to what? Equal to 0. So probability of a certain event is 1 and probability of an impossible event is 0. Probability of certain event is equal to 1. The certain event is also called sure event. Probability of an impossible event is equal to what? Equal to 0. So suppose if we get an answer equal to 25, 32, 47, any number greater than 1, we can understand that we are going wrong. We can check our answer. Similarly, it cannot be negative also. So it takes the value right from 0 till 1. Now let us deal with one more example. Throwing a die. A die is thrown. How many times it is thrown? 100 times it is thrown. Think of a die thrown 100 times. What are the possible numbers? It can be number 1, it can be number 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6. Should I write 7? No. A die is marked with only these 6 numbers. So it is thrown 100 times. So I performed an experiment of throwing a die 100 times. I got 15 times number 1 appeared. Number 2 appeared 11 times. 3 appeared 20 times. 4 appeared 10 times. 5 appeared 20 times. And 6 appeared 24 times. I repeat the question. This is a new topic and it's a simple topic. So I repeat here. A die is thrown 100 times. So 100 times the experiment is performed. The possible outcomes are number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So out of 100 times when the die is thrown, number 1 appeared 15 times, 2 appeared 11 times, 3 appeared 20 times, 4 appeared 10 times, 5 appeared 20 and 6 appeared 24 times. So what is the total number of trials? Total number of trials. How many times we threw the die? 100 times. This indicates the total number of trials. Or even if you add all these numbers, right, we will get the total number of trials. Here it is equal to 100. I want to find out probability of getting number 1. Probability of getting number 1. Right? So when I take number 1 here, I should see how many times it is appeared. So when the die was thrown, number 1 appeared 15 times. So I write here 15 divided by total number of trials. Total number of trials is 100. 15 upon 100, which is equal to 0.15. Similarly, probability of getting number 2. Number 2. How many times number 2 appeared? 11 times. So it is 11 upon 100, which is 0.11. Probability of getting number 3. 3 appeared 20 times. Therefore, it is 0.2. Probability of getting number 4. Go through the table. How many times 4 appeared? 10 times. Divided by 100 becomes 0.1. Probability of getting number 5. 5 appeared 20 times out of 100. It is 0.2. Probability of getting number 6. 6 appeared 24 times out of the total trials 100, which is equal to 0.24. Hope you understood how to calculate. Instead of writing here, the form can be changed. So I denote E1B, the event of getting number 1. So the same can be written as P of E1. So what is E1? E1 is the event of getting number 1. right? This I indicate as E2. So E2 is the event of getting number 2. So in the place of here getting number 2, I write P of E2. I take this as E3. E4 is the event of getting number 4. E5 is the event of getting number 5. And E6 is the event of getting number 6. So I rub out all this what I have written in detail. I write in short form. P of E1 is this, and P of E2, P of E3. If you want, you can use any alphabet you like, but we should mention what we have taken. So here orally I said what I have taken here. E stands for event, event of getting number 1, event of getting number 2, 3, 4. E5 is the event of getting number 5, and E6 is event of getting number 6. So it is probability of getting number 6, probability of getting number 5. Okay. So now I want to find out probability of getting not number 1. I don't want 1. So when I say I don't want 1, it can be number 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. That is indicated by bar. So I want to find out E1 bar. E1 bar. Bar means I don't want this number. So what are the number of trials I have to take? The number of trials are 11 plus 20 plus 10 plus 20 plus 24. So I have to add here. It is 11 plus 20 plus 10 plus 20 plus 24 divided by 100. So remember, when I say we want E1 bar, E1 bar means what? We don't want 1. So this is only exempted. The remaining columns, outcomes should be added. When I say I don't want number 2, then this column should be exempted. Where I have written E2, that should be exempted. The other outcomes should be added. So this is the case in each and every event when I have taken bar. Bar means not that event. P of E1 means probability of getting number 1. When I write probability of E1 bar, it is probability of not getting 1. Therefore, that one trial is removed. The remaining trials are added. So when you add, you are getting 85 divided by 100, which is equal to 0.85. So I summarize here, P of E1 is 0.15, which I have calculated here, and P of E1 bar is equal to 0.85. There is a relation between these two. This is probability of occurrence of number 1. This is probability of non-occurrence of the same event. If you add these two, occurrence and non-occurrence of any particular event is always equal to 1. Add, you will get it is equal to 1. It is not only for number 1. Even if you find P of E2 bar, sum of P of E2 plus P of E2 bar is equal to what? Equal to 1. Similarly, P of E3 plus P of E3 bar is also equal to 1. So in general, probability of occurrence of an event plus probability of non-occurrence of the same event, it is also equal to 1. And also we remember the result, we have to calculate probability of an event. It is number of trials, the event happened upon total number of trials. Total number of trials. So we should remember this. Also we should remember probability of occurrence of an event plus non-occurrence of an event is always equal to 1. How I checked for the first event, like that at home you can check for the remaining P of E2 plus P of E2 bar. Similarly for 3, 4, 5 and 6 you can